What's up, Knife Tube? How you guys doing today? Alright, we are going to do a sharpening of a knife that I use a lot, and that would be this Kizer Baby. Believe it or not, this is actually a fantastic knife out around the house, homestead, farm. This thing sees a lot of use. It does a lot of cutting. So we're gonna put a fresh edge on this bad boy. Yeah, definitely time for a fresh edge. Just super dull. I mean, it'll probably tear, but yeah, it's definitely. Surprisingly, it will still cut, but it's dull. Yeah, she be dull. We're gonna go ahead and knock that fatigue steel off of here. Knife gets used that much. Remember, that steel that's, at that apex, well, what used to be an apex, of course it's all rounded and blunted, but that steel is very fatigued. After it's done a bunch of cutting, that steel gets extremely fatigued. Can y'all see? Yes, sir. And it needs to be removed. Like, if I just sharpen that without taking that steel off, I would probably have a burr that would not want to just pop off. And, if you don't remove that steel, your edge retention of that edge is not going to be all that great. I'm going to make a knife based on this shape and design. I don't know, it's just such a useful knife, useful shape. I'm going to make one out of AEBL, or I don't know, I might do some Nitro V at like 63.5, 64. Little thinner geometry than that. That's going to make a really good little around the homestead knife, because this design really is awesome. You can pick these things up now for around 30, 40 bucks. If you ever use EDC type fixed blades, I'm telling you, get one of these. They are a really, really good value at $30 to $40. I know I've seen them on Amazon with the jade scales for 30 bucks. Super value at that. In my opinion, 154 CM, and Kizer does a good job on it. It's one of literally the best EDC steels you can get without going into powder metallurgy steels. It's just a great steel. I guarantee you'll enjoy it. You'll get a lot of use out of it. We're going to use Windex plus Dawn. So this edge is at around probably 18, 19 degrees. It's 154 CM. It is a steel that I definitely do not suggest taking to a very high grit at all. So what we're going to do, we're gonna remove that steel and set the bevel on this 140, atoma 140. Then we're gonna hop over to a 400 plate and finish the edge at 400. Like I said, this is probably right at about 18. Yeah, probably right at about 18 degrees per side. Well, 154 CM, you do yourself a favor, do not polish it. Just like, especially CPM 154, it's very sensitive to over polishing, but even 154 CM is still very much, ingot formed 154 CM is very sensitive to over polishing too. I never suggest taking it beyond, 600 is probably about ideal for most, most uses. I want a little more aggression than that, so I'm going to leave it a little coarser. Okay. Already got a bit. Okay. Nice consistent bevel. See, on these very, very coarse stones, I can't feel the bevel intersect with the stone, so I have to just go by feel at about what, where it's at. And the Atoma 140 is something that any sharpener out there should have a 140 in their arsenal. It's one stone that I believe every person who's serious about sharpening should have a 140 Atoma. Not quite a full burr yet. Being careful to not remove any unnecessary steel. I actually use this knife so much that I really want to get as many sharpenings out of it as I can before it starts to get overly thick. So I'm making sure I'm not wasting any steel. Not quite. Should be about perfect. Not quite. Alrighty, there we go. So, nice consistent bevel. Okay. Now we're going to go over to a 400. Move on me. Can you guys see? I'm telling you, if you don't got any 154 cm, get you some, man. It's such a good steel. And can be had for, you know, 30 bucks. And Kizer really does do a very good job on their 154. They run it hard enough. The heat treat's consistently good. Okay. We're going to fatigue that burr. Right now we're just working that burr back and forth. Weakening it. Also, I'll tell you this, 154 cm is a very good steel. Pulling to sharpen on. It's a steel that responds to the stones very nicely. So it lets you get a nice feel of what's going on. If it's done well, it deburrs very easily. It's just an all-around easy steel to work with. Very, very good steel to learn on. Okay, now we're going to make some dead on angle. Very important. We want dead on angle. Alternating lighter and lighter deburring passes. When you're doing this is when it's very, very important to make sure your angle is perfectly consistent if you want a good edge. I'm getting lighter and lighter with each pass. To the point where the apex is literally just ever so lightly kissing the stone. Okay, now we should pretty much be deburred. Should have a nice aggressive but yet keen edge. Should slice paper towels pretty crisply and cleanly without me pulling tight. You know, I'm leaving some slack in it, as you can see. Nice and aggressive. If I want to bring up the keenness zone, I can do that on a strop. Like there's tons of bite right now, but yeah, it is still good and sharp. Show you the edge. Okay. So, for my needs, I want lots of bite, which I have. I really don't care too much about bringing the keenness up. Now I can, if I want to, you know, just with the strop. Boy, sticky, super aggressive. So what I'll do, I don't want to drop off my keenness. I mean my bite at all, but I do want to bring up the stickiness a little bit. So what I'll do, right up, can you see? Right above angle, I'm going to go slightly higher than angle. This is no compound on this drop. It's just leather. I'm going to make a few passes. That's going to get rid of any of that little burr fragments that are remaining. Bring up my stickiness a little bit. I don't have to be super critical of angle because I just want the angle to be slightly over. I don't have to be super critical of it because there's no compound. There's no abrasive on this leather at all. Okay, so now that will most certainly have rolled up your upfront sharpness a little bit. It's going to be a little more sticky, a little more. Oh, absolutely. You can absolutely feel the keenness is more. So now, still got tons and tons of bite. You can hear the bite. But yeah, it's nice and sticky sharp. So that was a 200 plate, not a 400 plate. I'm going to go ahead and quit. I'm going to leave it there. Not go to the 400. I'm just going to call it at 200. I want that bite. I want very, very aggressive, extremely toothy edge. That's what I got. And plenty of sharpness. You know, it's plenty sharp. I'm literally not going to have any hair on my arms. My left arm is absolutely hairless. I know it looks silly. You know, very, very, very sharp. I've got patches on my left arm. But, man, what the hell. Very, very, very sharp, but also very, very, very toothy. And that's, for what I need this knife to do, that's exactly the type of edge that I want. Now, say you wanted a little more keenness, that's no problem. Go over to, you know, a 6 or 3 micron, even a 1 micron strop. For a couple passes exactly on angle, and you're going to bring up that keenness quite a bit without dropping your bite off very much. But you will lose a little bit of bite. Not much. You're gonna polish those teeth slightly. You're not gonna drop the bite off much, but you will drop it off some. Me, I want total aggression. When I go to cut, you know, belling twine or whatever, you know, burlap bead bags, I want it to bite and slice. I don't want no slipping. So that's why I'm going to just go ahead and finish it at 200 and not 400. And it would be still very aggressive at 400, but the keenness would be substantially higher. However, it's for my needs at 200. This is a perfect combination for the steel and my needs and for the use of this knife. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. Actually, I'll see if I can show you all the edge one more time. The hell is that? Oh, paper towel. Very, very, very aggressive edge. Alright guys, y'all have a good day. Thank you for spending 24 minutes with me, and I will talk to y'all later. Subscribe to Blade Walker.